Hello, my name is Tammy Mackenzie. I'm the director of the Aula Fellowship for AI, Science, Policy, and Tech. We're a think tank. Our mission is to get everyone to the conversation on AI. Everyone. One of the things we do is events. We've been helping organize conferences, we've provided speakers, conference workshops, and conference strategies so that people in groups can learn how to think about the hard questions in AI, how to speak up about the hard questions in AI that affect them in terms of the implementations that they're being asked to consider or work with. And how as a community they can start to organize together around those hard questions and get their needs met. So when we're doing a conference, I noticed this month I did 4 conferences in April, and the audience reactions were quite different. In some cases, the people who came and reacted afterwards, or the people that I was, touching with what we were talking about, were the people with the lowest power in the room. People who, in one case, there were educators and students. It was the students who got more involved. In another case, there was educators and specialists, and it's the specialists who got involved in the conversation, and less so the general audience. So it's a question of like when we're at Ola, we ask ourselves the question like, how do we get everyone to the conversation? And sometimes just giving information isn't enough, and we could be there trying to empower them to ask questions, and we get silence from the room. So I'm inviting you to think when you're working on your project with an AI, are you communicating it in a way that people can get involved? Are you giving them the right information? Are you giving them detailed information so they can make like ethical decisions and rights and law decisions? Are they, where did you get your data? How was it tuned? How was it put into? What's the base model? Who owns the base model? Where's the base model from? What type of energy usage does it have? These are questions you should be able to answer for an implementation. And from the side of the people putting in this implementation, like when we're receiving it, we should also know like what's the output? What's the error rate? How are we correcting for error rates? What are the use cases? What are the good use cases? What are the bad use cases? These are like lots of questions that are supposed to be answered by the people providing the technology. And more than that, when we're talking about involving ourselves at the think tank level with thinking about these implementations, we need that information too. How is it built and what's it doing to people? Notwithstanding all the black box information at the beginning, in the middle of all of that, those 2 bits of information are really pertinent to people being able to make good decisions. So at the Ola Fellowship, you can consider that getting everyone to the table is a question of getting enough information and getting it to them in such a way that they will listen and hear it and interact with it. I don't really know why my 2 slightly different speeches at 2 different conferences, seem to have different people in the audience responding. I think there's a lot of factors. I think there's socioeconomic factors in the room. And so I don't have any answers, but I invite you to be really conscious of it. In AI, we have different groups of people who are feeling more or less empowered. And so if they're more or less empowered, they're also more or less empowered to speak up when there's something wrong. And of course, if we're going to have good AI in society, we need to hear all the points of view so that we can take them into account. I invite you to let me know if you have some ideas on how to tell when an audience has heard what you have to say and how to make sure that they can get in touch after if they don't feel confident speaking up during. Have a good day.